Hi everyone, I am doing another tag. This one originated by someone I actually know. Most tags, they come through a long chain of YouTubers, so we don't really know who started them for the most part, but this one was actually created by James. At least I think it was. In the video that he made, it's his son reading him the questions, and he is behaving like he didn't even know what they were going to be. Very strange. Don't really understand that. Anyway, both he and Forkerball, Ian, already did their videos, and I am doing mine. I've got them on my computer right here, so excuse me while I look over here and read each of these questions. First question. If you could bring 3 people back from the dead, which 3? These are all film-related people, directors, actors, actresses, and so on. Both Ian and James mentioned Alan Rickman. I gotta agree with that. That's a great, great choice. I'd also like to bring back Stanley Kubrick for one more film. He was only 70 years old when he died, so at this point, well, let's see now. I think probably he'd be like 88 or something like that, 87, 88, like that. So yeah, that might give him time for one more film. That would be nice. Philip Seymour Hoffman died way too soon. I'd like to, have him live longer and make more movies. Of course, Anton Yelchin recently passed away much too young. But one person I'd really would have liked to see more of is Brittany Murphy. I don't know really what happened to her, some kind of drug overdose, I guess. But yeah, she was really lots of fun, and it would have been great to see her make more movies. So as far as people that were gone much too soon, those people, would be nice. Would be nice to have them around to make more films. Who would you want to be stuck in an elevator with? This is the second question. I think the guys went with funny people, mostly. I'm going with Michelle Williams, because she's very pretty and very pleasant to be around. Stuck in an elevator, might be someone who needs to be calmed down and have your anxiety soothed by a person, or you might want to be a reassuring presence for someone else. And, I've always liked Michelle Williams, so I think that would be a pleasant experience. Rather than someone who would be there just to entertain me while we're stuck together in an elevator, I'd go with Michelle Williams. What time period would you want to go back to? This is not really a movie-related question as far as I can tell. I'd really like to see what the 60s were like, and maybe I could stop JFK from getting assassinated. That would be good. Otherwise, I'd go back to 2001 and try and stop 9/11 from happening. Those would be my choices. Also, I really enjoyed the 90s, so it might be fun to go back there and just, not have to deal with all the crappy music that's come out since then, but stick with the alternative stuff from the 90s and, of course, everything that came before it. 90s were just a very comfortable period for me. I enjoyed it. Next question. What film character would you inhabit without changing the movie? I rephrased this question a little bit because it wasn't really quite clear to me at first. If you could replace a person in a movie without changing the movie itself. So I just basically, if I was going to inhabit a character and go through whatever it was they went through in the movie, who would that be? Well, wouldn't be Han Solo, because he gets frozen in Empire Strikes Back, and that would probably be pretty uncomfortable. I'd want to be someone who, A, doesn't get killed, excuse me, someone who doesn't get killed or seriously hurt, ends up healthy and happy, rich perhaps, and with a very attractive special someone at the end of the movie. So I'm going to go with Jim Dodge. Jim Dodge is the character played by Frank Whaley in the comedy Career Opportunities. He basically starts off the movie about to do the overnight janitor job at Target, which he's not too happy about. But by the end of the movie, he's successfully captured 2 notorious thieves, and he ends up in Hollywood with Jennifer Connelly and over $50,000 in his pocket. Good one, Jim. So yeah, that sounds like a good, place to end up at. So yeah, Jim Dodge. There are a lot of cooler characters. I mean, Jim Dodge is actually a pretty irritating person, but then again, I wouldn't have to be irritated by Jim Dodge because I am him. So it's not like I would have had to, listen to him talk. I get to listen to Jennifer Connelly talk and just look at her, of course. Next question, what movie would you wipe from existence? I'd definitely go with The Rock. A lot of people really like The Rock. The Rock is, by and large, the movie that made Michael Bay's career. If it had flopped, or if he had done a bomb of some kind after Bad Boys, he wouldn't have had the career that he has right now. But yeah, because of The Rock, we not only got Pearl Harbor, but we got, 4 terrible Transformers movies with more on the way. Yes, no, I hate the movie. It's a terrible movie. Yeah, no more Rock for me. James mentioned the Psycho remake. That would also be a good choice, I think, because there isn't a lot of benefit to remaking Psycho shot for shot, or any movie for that matter. Okay, next question. This is a good one. Swap a film's director for another director to make it better. I have 2 picks here. Number 1, make Bryan Singer the director of the 3rd X-Men movie. I don't hate X-Men The Last Stand. I think it's alright. But so many people bitch and moan about that movie, and they made Days of Future Past just to correct the things that went wrong with The Last Stand. Yeah, if Bryan Singer would only have directed that movie, then maybe things would have turned out better. And the X-Men series as a whole would have turned out better. Also, I would want James Cameron to direct the 3rd Terminator movie. That would have been nice. Instead of, Terminator 3 being just okay and then the other ones after that being terrible. If James Cameron had made Terminator 3 as well as the first 2, that would have made for a great, great, great trilogy right there. Fantastic. What movie would I remake? This is a question that I like very much. A movie that maybe didn't turn out so well that I'd like to remake. James's son mentioned Batman and Robin. I actually came up with kind of like a hypothetical remake of Batman and Robin cast. Russell Crowe as Bruce Wayne, Ryan Gosling as Robin, Carla Gugino as what's her name? The Uma Thurman character, the plant lady, Poison Ivy, right? Keira Knightley as Batgirl, and Vin Diesel as Mr. Freeze instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You could just see him there sitting in the low light of his cavern, his ice cavern, going, "Tonight, hell freezes over." That would have been good. That's an actual line from Batman and Robin. Yeah, just make it less gaudy looking, tone down some of the puns, and get a better cast, and boom, Batman and Robin could have been good. Or either that or make Batman versus Superman instead of Batman and Robin with like 90s people. That would have been fun. The question, of course, is who do you cast as Superman? I don't know. Something to think about. But actually my choice wouldn't have been Batman and Robin, it would be Freejack, which is a sci-fi movie from the early 90s with Emilio Estevez as a race car driver who gets into this horrific crash. But right before the car collides and he's killed, his body is transported to like 10 years into the future, where a wealthy person has funded this time travel escapade in order to get Emilio Estevez's healthy body and inhabit his own, put his mind into it so that he can live longer. It's a good premise, really cool, but the movie itself is pretty cheesy. I enjoyed it when it came out, but if I were to watch it now, I'd go, this is boring, this is dumb. Yeah. Who else was in it? Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins, Mick Jagger. Yeah, fun idea for a movie, but could have been done better. So yeah, remake Freejack, that would be good. Give an Oscar to one of the losing nominees or someone who is snubbed. Switch out, someone who won an Oscar for someone who didn't quite get there. And my standby choice for this is take away the Oscar from Jeremy Irons for Reversal of Fortune and give it to Robert De Niro for Awakenings. Really, really wanted Robert De Niro win that Oscar for Awakenings. He was just wonderful in that movie. Although Jeremy Irons was good in his part. It was fun. Nah, Robert De Niro should have gotten it. Also, I'd give, Best Picture Oscars to, like, The Social Network instead of The King's Speech, and to Goodfellas instead of Dances with Wolves, and I've got a few like that. I think Ian mentioned Wizard of Oz instead of Gone with the Wind. I would totally give the Oscar to The Wizard of Oz. That would be great. What movie would you screen with its cast? This is a hard question for me. I really had a tough time choosing one because there's so many where you could be entertained by the cast of the movie basically sitting around you, providing commentary, or just sharing anecdotes as the movie plays. I went with something a little weird. I picked Blood Rain. Blood Rain is a Uwe Boll movie which is not very well liked. but it has a really impressive cast. You've got Kristanna Loken as the main character. You've got Michael Madsen and Ben Kingsley and Michelle Rodriguez, some of whom didn't get along with each other. So maybe at this screening they'd sort of like argue or maybe get into a fight. That would be much more entertaining than the actual movie itself. And Billy Zane. Billy Zane was really, really a lot of fun in that movie. He has a great scene in which he dictates a letter to Michelle Rodriguez, and he's just awesome. He's just terrific. So, a blood-rain screening of a terrible movie with a cast fighting with each other, Billy Zane sitting next to me, making amusing remarks throughout the screening. That would be great. I would enjoy that very much. There's lots of other movies that I would enjoy sitting around with the cast, but if the movie's good, you want to watch the movie. And of course, if you've seen it a bunch of times, like, say, the Avengers or something like that, would be fun to watch the Avengers with the cast. That would be great. But I wouldn't be paying attention to the movie. I'd just be listening to everyone, you know, talking with each other, right? Or would everybody be sitting in stony silence? I don't know. Ideally, they'd be talking. So yeah, I'm going with Blood Rain. Blood Rain would be fun. Go back in time and watch a movie at its premiere. Die Hard. Absolutely Die Hard. I didn't get to see Die Hard in the theater when it came out. I was 13. Although I'd read good things about it, I was just, I don't know, I didn't feel great about asking my parents to take me to that movie because it was probably really violent or what have you. Anyway, I missed it. And I heard from my best friend later on just how much fun it was to go and see Die Hard. He went to see the movie 9 times in the theater. And every single time, even though it was weeks later, people were like screaming their heads off and getting really into it at every single screening. To go to the premiere of that movie would be fantastic. Just fantastic. And I'm really sorry I missed seeing that movie even one time in the theater. You know, I would have liked to see it at least one time. The premiere would be perfect. So yeah, Die Hard. Okay, next question. Keep only 5 films from your collection. I happen to have them right here. Goodfellas by Martin Scorsese, my favorite movie of all time. The Social Network by David Fincher. Now, there are a couple movies that I think are a little bit better than The Social Network, but this has high rewatch factor. I just love rewatching this movie. I love the dialogue. I love the editing. The movie is just a pleasure to watch over and over again. There are a few other movies like The Avengers and Batman Begins and other films that I could just watch over and over again, but this one, gotta go with Fincher. Gotta go with Fincher. Time Code. Time Code is an ensemble comedy that's shot with 4 different cameras. And they're all on screen at the same time, so the great thing about this DVD is that you can play with a sound mix and listen to one quadrant or the other and switch back and forth at will. Seriously, I've spent like 4 or 5 hours at a time watching this movie that's like only an hour and a half long because I keep going back, and it's a great, it's a fun movie, it's funny, but the great part about it is that you can watch it in different ways, which is lots of fun. So yeah, Time Code's been a long time favorite of mine. Koyaanisqatsi is a kind of documentary, but really it's more like an 87-minute long music video, only it's instrumental music, not like rock music or anything like that, composed by Philip Glass. This is basically like a lot of stock footage, but also time-lapse photography and everything like that. There have been a few movies made like this since this movie came out, but this one is the best, and what's great about this movie is that you can rewatch it and enjoy it no matter... because there's no dialogue, basically. No dialogue at all. No one's talking in this movie, so it's not like you're bored because you're waiting for them to get to the next story point. It's just a sensory experience, so that's a great rewatch factor. And finally, another movie that I really, really enjoy, and was actually made by people I know. One of my closest friends co-directed this movie, Love Stalker. My good friend Matt co-directed this movie and starred in it, and so if I'm only going to keep 5 movies in my collection, this is definitely going to be one of them, because... Yes. Yes, absolutely. Next, top 5 favorite villains. There was actually a tag some months ago called the 22-question movie tag that had name your favorite movie villain, and I picked Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman from Die Hard, to which I will add John Doe, played by Kevin Spacey in 7, Palpatine, played by Ian McDiarmid in Return of the Jedi, Zod, played by Terrence Stamp in Superman 2, and, one second here. Tell me, Mr. Anderson, what good is a phone call if you're unable to speak? Hugo Weaving, Mr. Smith, Agent Smith, The Matrix, the first one, of course, the first Matrix. Next question. Favorite TV show of all time? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A show that I actually got so emotionally involved in that a couple of episodes actually made me cry because I was so upset about what happened. Yeah, I can't see any show surpassing that, no matter how great it is. And there are shows that are technically better shows, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer, love it. Just love it. You know, nothing surpasses it for me. Nothing at all. Favorite cartoon of all time? I am not really into TV cartoons the way that a lot of people are. You know, I don't watch them in adulthood, really. I mean, I've seen a few episodes of South Park, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, you know, The Simpsons, things like that. And I had cartoons that I watched as a little kid, but, you know, it wasn't something where, not something that I would, like, say, oh, that was one of my favorites of all time. So I'm going to go with Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was introduced to me in the 90s, and it was just so weird and wacky and fun. So I got to go with that one. I don't really have a favorite TV cartoon, but if I had to pick one, it would be Ren and Stimpy. Those are my answers. That's the whole tag. I will list the questions below. If you'd like to participate, of course, you'll also find links to Ian's video and James's video below. Thank you very much, James, for creating this tag. Found your video very entertaining with your son. And I will see you guys again next time. Later. Bye.